Good morning, guys. This is our first chapter, and I want us to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to try something different this semester. I'm going to try to do an online lecture that might help you. Um, so the first chapter deals with an overview of marketing, and so let's discuss what is marketing. Define the term marketing. Marketing is a philosophy, an attitude, a perspective, or a management orientation that stresses customer satisfaction. Now, that's critical in today's business environment. It's also an organizational activity. It can be a set of institutions and processes. Now, the American Marketing Association defines marketing as the activity, set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. Now, you'll notice in this definition that there is an exchange of offerings, which could be products or services, um, in exchange for value. And I think that's what customers in this day and age want. They want value for their money. So therefore, marketing entails processes that focus on delivering value and benefits to customers, not just selling goods and services. So if you're in business, your idea of selling is not just providing some type of good or service. You need to provide some type of value and benefit to your customers. Customers want bang for their buck. Okay, so in order for marketing or sales to take place, exchange has to happen. And there are conditions for exchange. There has to be at least two parties. There has to be something of value. There has to be communication and delivery. There has to be freedom to accept or reject whatever it is you're offering. And then there has to be the desire to deal with the other party. If any one of these conditions are not met, there cannot be an exchange. Exchange might not take place even if conditions are met. An agreement must be reached. And then marketing occurs even if exchange does not take place. And let's clarify one thing. Marketing does not necessarily mean that you have to someone buy something. Marketing can take place even if nothing is sold. All right, there are four basic management philosophies, and we're going to describe and talk about those. Um, Orientation. The focus is on either production. That is the internal capabilities of the firm. Now, for those of you who have been in my accounting class, excuse me, my nose itches. Um, uh, there are different types of firms. We have manufacturing, merchandising, and then obviously sales. But people who produce things, that is the internal capability of what they're able to produce. Sales, orientation is an aggressive sales technique and belief that high sales result in high profits. Number three, market. Satisfying customer needs and wants while meeting objectives. And fourth, satisfying customer needs and wants while enhancing individual and societal well-being. Okay, in production orientation, there is a quote, field of dreams orientation, as to speak. If you build it, they will come. It does not consider if what's produced meets market needs. Now, just because you build a big building does not necessarily mean that people are going to come. All right, in sales orientation, marketing then is equal to selling things and collecting money. Now, this is far from the truth in this particular orientation. Um, the sales orientation disregards the market needs and consumer demands. Now, if you are uh, in something with high pressure sales, You disregard what the customer needs or wants. Your main goal then is to sell something to make income. And despite the quality of sales force, they often cannot convince people to buy what is neither wanted or needed. Now, again, some of the high pressure sales things, let me give you a classic example, would be timeshares. These people are all about high pressure sales. Um, Oftentimes, people don't want or need these, but yet they see ways for lucrative incomes. All right, the market orientation, number three. The concept of marketing, this focuses on customers' wants and needs to distinguish products from your competitors' offering. Now, in business, there are lots of competitors. You need to provide something that is going to uh, make you different as far as what you're selling. Customers want something different. They want something extraordinary, and they want, again, value for their dollar. It also means integrating all the organization's activities to satisfy these wants. And lastly, achieve the organization's long-term goals by satisfying customers' wants and needs legally and responsibly. Now, we get in this third point under marketing, we get into the ethical and legal aspects of marketing. Again, you need to provide something that's beneficial. You need to provide something that's legal. Obviously, if you're a dope dealer, this is not going to apply to you. So how do you achieve a marketing orientation? Well, first of all, you have to obtain your information about customers, competitors, and markets. Um, what about your competitors? What about your customers? What about the market that you're in? If you're providing an expensive type product, you're certainly not going to market your product to someone of lower income. So again, information is critical. Number two, you want to examine the information from a total business perspective. Everything has to be done according to business. Thirdly, you want to determine how you can deliver superior customer value. Now, for those of you who have had me before, you know I'm all about customer service. By providing quality customer service, you create customer loyalty, which in turn creates repeat business. So therefore, it's critical to provide something for your customers to offer them value for what they're buying. And then lastly, you want to implement actions to provide the value. So what am I going to do to allow customers to perceive that they're receiving something of value? All right. The last type of orientation is called societal marketing orientation. It's an organization that exists not excuse me, not only to satisfy customer wants, but also to preserve and enhance individuals and society's long-term best interests. For example, we want a company that would produce less toxic products. We want a product that is more durable, that's not going to break, and we want products that are reusable or made of recyclable materials. Obviously, all of these help our environment. All right, so who's in charge? Increased availability of comparative research enables customers to shop smarter, putting the customer in the driver's seat. Now, this is critical. The customer has to be number one. Now, there are many businesses out there that put the customer in the forefront. Those who don't generally are somewhat hurting. All right, questions that help determine marketing philosophy. In the production orientation, the question that you need to ask is, what can we make or do best? If you can produce parts for airplanes, then that's what you should make. Sales. The question that they ask is, how can we sell more aggressively? Now, I'm not so sure that being an aggressive salesperson is all that great, but this, again, we're talking about types of orientations. And in the sales orientation, that is what they look at. The question in the marketing orientation is, what do customers want and what do they need? Now, again, they're taking the customer from its whole perspective as their wants and needs. Now, a lot of times people will buy something if they don't need it, if they perceive something of value. Lastly, societal philosophy. What do customers want, need, and how can it benefit society as a whole? The difference between sales and market orientations. All right, there are 5 basic characteristics that that we need to look at. Number 1, what is the organization's focus? Number 2, what is the firm's business? In other words, what are they doing? Number 3, those to whom the product is directed. Number 4, the firm's primary goal. And number 5, tools that the organization uses to achieve its goals. Now, the focus in sales orientation is inward looking. It looks at what the firm makes. In marketing, it's outward looking. It looks at what the market wants. Now, I guess in essence there has to be some type of culmination of the both of these, because you need to know what you make, but you also need to know what the market wants. Now, there are requirements that customers need as far as value. Number 1, they want a product that performs. So your business has to offer this. Number 2, they want trust. Consumers want to know that they can trust what you're selling and trust you as an organization. Number 3, avoid unrealistic pricing. Guys, if your pricing is too expensive, you can forget what you want, because people can obviously shop around and buy something. So therefore, what you need to do is to make your product. You can be overly. You can charge more if you can provide value in what you're selling. Number 4, you need to offer organization-wide commitment in service and after-sales support. There's nothing more aggravated than to purchase something that doesn't work or it's obviously wrong, and then you try to contact customer service and nothing is done about it. And then lastly, the last value requirement for customers is the co-creation. In other words, obviously we talk about stakeholders and stockholders. Obviously your customer is a stakeholder, so treat them as such, and which will enable you to become a better business. Customer satisfaction. So this is critical in any organization, whether you provide products or services. Customer satisfaction is defined as the customer's evaluation of a good or service in terms of whether the good or service has met their needs and expectations. Now, there are all sorts of products on the market, all sorts of little gadgets, widgets, or whatever that serve absolutely no purpose. Now, just keep in mind that you as a business need to provide something that's going to meet the expectation and needs of the consumer. Relationship marketing. This is strategy that focuses on keeping and improving relationships with customers. Now, guys, if you lose customers, it costs a lot more money to go out and obtain new customers. Therefore, it's in your best interest to continually strive to create happy customers, a happy customer base who will continually come back and buy your product. So some of the successful strategies that you need some type of customer-oriented personnel. You need to hire quality people that care about people that they're dealing with. You need, obviously, effective training programs. You need empowered employees where you give them the ability to make some decisions on their own, to make decisions, especially on the sales floor. And then lastly, teamwork. Everyone within that organization needs to work together as a team. With customer-oriented personnel, every employee represents the firm in the eye of the customer. If you have people who are bad, that's what the customer sees. Not only can they see the good people, but they also see the bad. Obviously, I think employee training programs speak for itself. So we probably need to be aware of the training programs that are available. Empowering employees, it means exactly what it says. You want to give them authority to solve problems on the spot. They should not have to contact some type of management to keep the customer waiting. And then teamwork again emphasizes the cooperation over the competition with helping the customer. All right, defining a firm's business and sales, it's goods and services. And then market orientation, it's benefits that customers seek. All right, knowing the firm's business, how do you know what's happening on? Number one, you need to ensure that there is a customer focus. You need to encourage that there's some type of innovation and creativity, and you need to stimulate an awareness of changes in customer preferences. Guys, things in business change. Customers' wants and taste change. So therefore, you need to be able to provide them with some type of product that stimulates their wants and needs. And secondly, whenever things change, you need to stay ahead of the game and be aware of your customers' wants. Again, we talked about sales orientation as being inward. We sell goods and services. We sell it for everybody. The primary goal, or the primary profit goal, is to maximize sales volume. And then the tools that we use to achieve that, we use promotion, which in essence is marketing. Now the marketing orientation, again, is outward because we again focus on consumers. We want to satisfy the wants and needs of the people that we deal with. Who is it for? Generally, for market orientation, it's geared at a specific market. For example, if I'm selling jewelry, I'm going to target primarily women, younger women, depending on the type of jewelry that I'm selling. The primary goal in the market orientation is customer satisfaction. Remember that. And then lastly, you coordinate the use of marketing activities. So how do we go about doing that? Through the various marketing activities. So why do we study marketing? Number one, it's important to society. Number two, it's important to business. And number three, it provides a good career opportunity. Now, marketing affects you every day. Whether or not you realize it, marketing takes place in your life every day. For example, if you ride by the college, there's marketing taking place on the sign out there. They're advertising classes. They're advertising different workshops. That is marketing. They're telling people about something that we offer. When you go to the grocery store, the marketing's taking place. You see a product, you see a variety of products. Some are different. So therefore, with that being said, that's why we study marketing, because we know that it's important to society. Society functions by buying things. It's important to business because we generate revenue. We are become sustainable. And lastly, if you choose to go into marketing, they are very good careers. Now, you have a video that I posted on Moodle. So there are a couple of questions. So watch the video, answer the questions, submit them, and I'll grade them. So this is our lecture for the first week. So be sure, read the chapter, do your assignments and Cengage, do your discussion question, which you need to post a response to the question on there, and then you reply to 3. Now this is equal to 100 points. If you only do one and you answer it satisfactorily, you'll get 25 points. If not, you get a 0. So be sure and keep up with all your work. We have 2 chapters that we're going to cover a week, and I'll post something on chapter 2 in a little bit. Thanks.